Very good evening to you all. I cordially invite all of you to the International Open University Research Session 2022. And this is the online session 3, parallel session 2, theme is education. Our session chair is Professor S. Kugamurthy, the Dean of the Faculty of Education, Open University of Sri Lanka. There are 5 research papers to be presented in this session. So while congratulating all the authors, I am handing over the session to the session chair, Professor S. Kugamurthy. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiraj. Good afternoon, all the presenters and the participants. We all joined for the International Open University Research Session under the Session 3, Theme Education. There are 5 presenters going to share their research findings with us. We all know there are several contemporary issues in the education sector. Therefore, I hope that all the presenters, they will share their research findings to enhance the education system of our country. And hereafter, I want to give some instruction how the presenters want to allocate the time. The total allocated time for the recorded presentation and question and answer is only 15 minutes. The pre-recorded video of the presentation will be played for each paper listed in the session plan. When the recorded session going on, please mute the microphone during the time. And during the question and answers time, you can switch on your video. When you switch on the video, please sure that you want to share the virtual background of the International Open University Research Session and turn on your videos to participate for the question and answer. I think you are all audible. Then we will move to the first presentation. The paper ID is number 3. The title of the research is Principals' Leadership Capacities as Perceived by Teachers in Secondary School in Gold Division. The author is NGISJ Leonard.
Hello everyone, I'm NGLSJ Lianage, attached to the Department of Secondary and Tertiary Education, Faculty of Education, the Open University of Sri Lanka. My research topic is Principals' Leadership Capacities as Perceived by Teachers in Secondary Schools in Gold Division. Here's the content of my presentation: Introduction, Research Objectives, Literature review, methodology, data analysis, conclusions and recommendations, suggestions for further research, and references. Let me give a small introduction to the research. According to the UNESCO, education is an essential tool for achieving sustainability. There's always a positive correlation between economic development and effective educational system. Research findings have shown that education can contribute to improve agricultural production, enhance the status of women, reduce population growth rates, enhance environmental protection, and in general, raise the standard of living. The performance of a school always depends on efficient and effective leadership qualities of the principal. The principal is the chief executive officer in the school. A principal is the key to a good school environment in achieving standard teaching and learning quality. A principal plays several roles in a school, such as disciplinary control, teacher evaluator, event manager, policy maker, recruiter, communicator, and delegator. During the time of playing these roles, a principal should be a good leader also. According to this background, in the present study, the research expected to find out how those qualities of a principal are perceived by teachers. Main research objectives of the research is to identify how the teachers perceive their principal's leadership capacity in the school environment. Other than that, to study gender-based perceptual analysis on each survey statements, to explore how teachers perceive about principals, shared vision for high student achievement, instructional leadership of principals, development and guidance of the staff professionally, principals personal leadership, and how to deal with systems, operations, and resource management, and then to identify the dimensions needed for further development of the leadership capacities of a principal. When we consider about literature review, there are a number of articles discussing principals' leadership capacity, leadership styles, effective leadership, and administrative effectiveness. This study also aims to develop its unique features based on study area, research questions, data collection methods, and population samples. In this study, the researcher has divided the literature review into several parts. First one, leadership, principal leadership skills and capacities, and teachers' perception of their principal's leadership capacities, and key dimensions of leadership capacity according to literature review. Then, which aspects of principal's leadership are least valued by teachers, and finally, strategies to enhance or improve principal leadership capacity. Stockdale states that there are countless definitions about leadership, as many experts try to define the leadership as per their view. Hank Bissett in 2011 has cited few qualities of a school leader in the study of Cambodian teachers' perception of their principals' leadership capacities. They are respect the rights of others, develop a school vision, treat students fairly, promote a positive school culture, understanding of the policies, laws that affect schools, use and promote technology in school, be fully updated and aware of learners' diverse needs, use public resources and funds productively, use community resources positively. When we consider about the methodology, the research is based on descriptive research of survey type. A total of 10 government schools and 100 teachers were sampled from secondary schools in the Gold Division using random sampling techniques. The data was collected using a self-structured questionnaire. A quantitative study was chosen to examine teachers' perceptions of their principals' leadership capacities because the quantitative paradigm allows a large sample population to be successful. The design of this study utilized a quantitative survey instrument to collect data from teachers to identify their perception of the leadership capacities of their principal. The data analysis of this study is carried in the following manner. The first part of the analysis would be a demographic analysis. Second part is a totally perceptual analysis of each survey statement in the questionnaire. And the third part of the analysis is developed with gender-based perceptual analysis on each survey statement. These are the mean values of key areas of teachers' perception. There are mainly 5 areas. For an example, shared vision for high student achievement. Strongly agreed percentage is 35.5. Agreed percentage is 51.1. Neither agree or disagree percentage is 11. Disagree percentage is 1.3. and strongly dissenting percentage is 0.6. Likewise, for every main statements, there are mean values mentioned here. The above table and the graph show that principles were perceived positively by 78% of the respondents. The statement in section 1, shared vision for high student achievement, has received a percentage of 70 favorable perception on their principles. The second statement, teaching non-structural leadership, is also perceived by teachers as highly positive, the percentage of 75. Likewise, the total percentage value is 78 as the positively perceived by teachers. When we consider about the conclusions and recommendations, based on the findings of this study, the conclusion can be made that in general, teachers perceive their principals' capacity more positively. Another significant finding was that teachers in the age group 41 to 50 perceived their principals significantly higher than other age groups. Female principals were perceived significantly higher than male principals. Principals were perceived least positive on some dimensions of leadership. They are use and promotion of technology in schools, being fully aware of learners' diverse needs, deploying financial and human resources, use of public resource funds appropriately, implementing professional development, allocation and use of fiscal, human and material resources, using community resources positively. It's however recommended that Sri Lankan principals should be trained in information and communication technology. There's also the need to equip the principals with modern management skills, which this study shows that the principals are deficient in. It's recommended to conduct programs in pre-principal training and support for ongoing professional training and collegial learning opportunities for serving principals, providing positive and timely responses to the school principals' inquiry and request from the Ministry of Education and Education authorities. In addition, providing adequate human resource for the schools in time by the relevant authorities to enable principals to manage their school effectively, since they do not have power the authority to recruit staff. Here are some suggestions for further research. Conduct further research with a better developed research procedure and literature on Sri Lankan school management in contemporary setting. Conduct further research covering more on locations and areas with the possibilities to extend the content coverage and sample selection. Conduct further research with schools having a broad range of variance in academic performance indicators to identify differences in leadership, to see if there are any differences in student learning and achievement among schools that are run by highly perceived principals and those by lowly perceived principals, and then conduct studies that add several continuous variables for analysis between principals' leadership, teachers' satisfaction, and several contextual variables. And then conduct studies that explore more broadly and in depth, focusing on principals and teachers' demographic factors. These are some references for my research, and my presentation is over from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Lianake, for your valuable presentation. Now that forum is open for question and answer. Any Zoom participants, if you wish to ask any questions, please you can ask.
Yes, Sitara, it's a good research, study. May I know, then you have selected 10 government schools. What are the types of schools that you have selected? You are muted. think.
Sorry, madam. Sorry. I selected one AB schools, one C, and type 2 schools.
Then proportionately.
Yes.
How many? Okay. Then one more question. Then
Yes, madam.
may I know how did you, achieve the third objective? Because for me, it seems that it's a little bit wide objective. Then how
That-
did you achieve? Yeah.
Yeah, those statements. Did you mean that
Yes.
object?
Yes. Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
very lengthy
Actually,
objective.
ma'am. Yeah, actually, ma'am, I divided my questionnaire into those 5 parts. Under those 5 parts, I took several areas questionnaire. Likewise, it was a questionnaire, and actually it was I could easily find out the teacher's perception from that 5 main segments.
Yeah, that's okay. I think in the future studies, you should think that you should not have very lengthy objectives. Those should be very
Yeah,
specific.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
thank you.
Okay, madam.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ruandika, for your valuable comment. Yes, I also agree that always research objective should be very specific. And in anybody that the participants, any other questions? Okay, I want to ask one question that is related to your second objectives, related to that gender-wise, how the teachers perceive that between the female and male principals. In your findings, you mentioned that there are more positive perception more than male principals to the female principals. Do you have
Yes.
any in-depth reason whether you analyze, whether you collect the data, in-depth analysis to how, what are the reasons they perceive that positive perception towards female principals?
Yes, madam. When I analyze the questionnaires, actually I told that first I got those 5 main segments in that questionnaire. In each survey statements I analyzed by male and female.
Okay.
Then I could find that decision, that finding.
Okay, thank you. If there are no any more questions, then shall we move to the next presentation? Thank you, Lena Gay, for your valuable presentation. Then we will move
Thank
to
you,
the
madam.
next presentation. You can mute your video. Okay, the next presentation is on perception of undergraduates on online teaching during the COVID-19 pandemic. The author is AMS MRSG Bandara. Bandara, you can start your the video going to start.
Good day, everyone. This is the title of my presentation, Perceptions of Undergraduates on Online Teaching During the COVID-19 Pandemic. This is the content of the presentation. Introduction. Higher education institutions and universities in Sri Lanka were closed for nearly 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. To continue the academic activities, the universities had to go for online teaching. And since online teaching is novel, it is important to identify the gaps and student perceptions of it to minimize the undesirable features while implementing the good features. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, a majority of universities in Sri Lanka was closed for in-person lectures and so opted to teach online for nearly 2 years. Since online teaching and learning is still a novel experience for students and university academics, an analysis is needed to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the online delivery of the lectures. So this made the research problem. Research questions. What are the users, experiences, benefits and barriers of undergraduates on using online teaching during the COVID-19 pandemic? The research objectives. Broad objective was to identify the perceptions of undergraduates on online teaching during the COVID-19 pandemic, and specific objective was to identify the users, experiences, benefits and barriers of undergraduates on using online teaching during the COVID-19 pandemic. Research methodology. The time frame was first quarter of 2022 and sampling frame was second year students of the BSc in Food Business Management degree program, and sample size was 64 students. Sampling technique was purposive sampling technique, and data collection technique. Self-administered online questionnaires were used to collect the primary data, and secondary data was gathered using published verified journal papers. Data analysis technique included descriptive statistics. So results and discussion. First, the users of online teaching and learning is depicted in the table given. Accordingly, 20.5% of the students preferred online teaching, while 62.5% preferred a combination of the online and in-person teaching method. And here you can see the student preferences on online teaching platforms. So the preference was highest with the Zoom. That may be because the government universities of Sri Lanka are using Zoom as their online teaching platform mainly. In addition, they were like familiar with these platforms like Moodle, YouTube, Padlet, and the Google Docs, and they had moderate familiarization with Perusall and MS Teams as well. So the benefits of online teaching and learning, the benefits included the cost saving and also ability to learn at their own pace, and no traveling required, and the flexibility of scheduling the lectures and interactive, and ability to ask questions comfortably at their home, and saving time. Though they have recorded these benefits, only 29.7% of the individuals indicated that they preferred online examinations. The barriers to online teaching and learning. So the most recorded barrier was the poor internet connection. In addition, they had some timing of examination as a barrier, and also difficult group work as a barrier, and also lack of technological devices like laptops and mobile phones, and even the family distractions and anxiety when they are working online. So these were the barriers to online teaching and learning recorded by the students. And experience with the online teaching and learning. So they were given this set of statements and to rate them on a Likert scale. So mean score was obtained and their preference is shown in the third column. Accordingly, they had high and moderate the preferences for the statements given. So they recorded on teaching and learning is to be more stimulating and motivating and easy to engaging in the lesson when they do the lectures online, and they preferred online teaching more, and also they felt like teachers are well prepared, and and also the online teaching to be more interactive. So these are the statements and their preferences. Conclusion and recommendation. To improve the efficiency of online teaching and to move forward with trending MOOCs and self-paced courses, the study suggests using a combination of online and in-person teaching sessions so that students can learn theories at home and while receiving hands-on experience at the university. Further, incorporating problem-based, team-based flipped classrooms in online teaching will direct undergraduates towards self-paced learning. Moreover, the universities can accommodate students with poor signal connection at the hostels, while other students can learn from home. Students can also be called in person for examinations, which will relieve unnecessary stress and issues related to online examinations. These suggestions will minimize the negative aspects of online teaching while maximizing its positives. So these are the references of my study. And thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Bandara. Actually, this study, the very important study due to this current pandemic situation, we all adapted the online teaching via Zoom and different strategies. Yeah, so therefore, it is a very good study. Anyway, now the forum is open to question and answer. Any questions from the participants?
Then again, myself, thank you for your, useful presentation. I just want to know whether what is your sample?
Madam, I used the second year students, 64 second year students.
How many students?
64, madam.
64 students.
Yes.
Okay. And just a little thing, when you name your tables, then you have to adhere to APS 7 guidelines. Normally on
Okay,
the top
madam.
of the table, you have to mention the name of the table.
Table, yes.
Yeah, and also the reference list also should be prepared according to APS 7 guidelines.
Okay,
It's a
madam.
very
Sure.
good study actually. You have found lots of valuable findings. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Yes. Any other questions from the participants? Okay, there are no more any questions from the participants. Only based on your findings, my observation is that several, because we can understand that that majority of the students, your sample students, they prefer to use the Zoom, no? Compared to Teams, they prefer to use Zoom. But anyway, when I observed that online tests, only 27% of the students, they prefer to do the online exam, no? Your
Yes,
finding
madam.
shows like that.
Yes, madam. The issue I also asked the students. So their answer, their reason was that with the experience in online examination, they said that it is very difficult to face the examinations, and the paper structure was also different than the physical examination.
Okay, I
And
think you
also,
can switch on your video when you are answering.
Sorry, madam, I am at
All right, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then the students, they are not willing to do the online exam, no? The findings, because in our case, because there are some students, they have some other program, they are willing to do the online exam. That's why these findings is totally different from our students' perception. Maybe our students are the ODL students. Maybe they prefer the online test. Okay.
Yeah, madam.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank
madam.
you. Then there are no more any question. Then we can move to the next presentation. The ID number 22. The title of the research is a paradigm shift in school leadership principles, reflection about the program of school management. The authors are WMS Veerakorn, C. Hevapatharana, P. Ramadas, and MNC Fernando.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is our research topic, paradigm shift in school leadership, principles, reflections about the program of school management. These are the research team, WMS Veerakorn, C. Hevapatharana, P. Ramadas, MNC Fernando, representing the Faculty of Education, the Open University of Sri Lanka. Now, the introduction, school leadership plays a significant role in school management. It helps to improve students' academic achievement and also increase teachers' professional development, ultimately improving the quality of education. School leadership is a key factor in the success of schools and educational system reforms. The quality of the school system rests on the quality of its school leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see the very important quotes by Lewis in 2010. Leadership is a critical aspect of all social endeavors. In school, talented leadership is essential for student achievement. School leadership impacts all phases of education. Teachers' motivation, shaping the conditions and the environment in which teaching and learning occur, and interaction with the broader community. Now, the background. School Management is an online program of the Department of Educational Leadership and Management of the Faculty of Education of the Open University of Sri Lanka, conducted for principals to build and improve their managerial and leadership competencies for fostering their professional development to enhance the school effectiveness. Actually, this program is offered in 3 mediums of instruction with the same content and 12 interactive activity-based contact sessions. Each 6 hours are conducted via Zoom technology. The online platform has been developed under the Open Learning Platform to facilitate participants. Accordingly, this study explored the effects of the school management program on principals in enhancing managerial and leadership competencies to cater for the school's effectiveness. Now, the conceptual framework. The school management program is developed based on the conceptualization of a holistic approach to pedagogical leadership. You can see that conceptual framework. 3 aspects of leadership aim at school improvement based on this conceptual framework. The first one, how school leaders in the school participate in and support teachers' learning for quality teaching. The second one, how they establish and communicate the school goals and expectations for students' learning. And the third one, how do they structure professional development for program coherence to sustain school capacity to improve student learning. This is very important holistic framework for the school management program. Now, the research question. The following research questions guided this study. How does the school management program support enhancing the leadership and managerial skills of principal? Second research question is, how do the experience created by the program enhance the competencies of the school leaders to support the effectiveness of managerial roles? The third research question is, what are the difficulties encountered by school principals in implementing the intended competencies in the program? The fourth research question is, what are the suggestions from principals to improve the school management program? Now, the methodology, the survey research design was adapted for this study. It provided an insight to systematically contextualize the existing trends in the phenomena and the various aspects of the school management program offered by the Department of Educational Leadership and Management. The data collected using questionnaire and reflections of principals were analyzed both qualitatively and quantitatively. Now, the 75 participants were selected for this study, who followed the program of the school management in a first cycle. You can see according to their qualifications, their background, we have selected them for the study. Now, the findings. Research question 1, how does the school management program support enhance the leadership and managerial skills of principals? Ladies and gentlemen, you can see those aspected supported them to enhance their leadership and managerial skill in large extent. You can see what are the aspects, to what extent principals think the following supports enhance leadership and managerial skills. For examples, the novel characteristics have been incorporated in sessions. Abstract concepts, principles, rules are illustrated with the content, specific examples. Likewise, we have organized these aspects into table. The second, to what extent they think the learner support is very important in online platform. We have given them sufficient learner support. They have given their reflections about the support they have received in the second table. How does the school management program support enhancing the leadership and managerial skills of principal? As previous table, majority of principals gave their consent in a large extent. Those aspects have been supported them to improve their leadership and managerial skills. And the motivations we have given within the program, they have highly appreciated the motivations. Now the research question 2, how do the experiences created by the program enhance the competencies of the school leaders to support the effectiveness of managerial roles? Self-reflections and views of the principals about the school management program we gathered here, we included in the table. Positive contributions of the program. Now, for example, realize the importance of content knowledge and technological and pedagogical knowledge in relation to the field of school management. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, one principal mentioned that I gained a lot of knowledge and experiences related to the school management that helped me to effectively manage my school activities. They become aware of useful new concepts related to school management. One principal mentioned that although I have 10 years experience as principal in a leading school, I was able to aware on new concepts and practices related to the school management after participating in this program. Develop skills in online platform. One principal mentioned that this is my first experience in online education, and it gave me a big opportunity to develop my digital learning skills. Now the question number 3, what are the difficulties encountered by school principals in implementing the intended competencies in the program? Now, you know, overall the progress of the school management program has been kept at the expected level. Various difficulties as reported by participants are summarized below. First one, the sudden close of the school from time to time due to the COVID-19 pandemic and socio-economic issues of the country. Limited time to practice intended competencies in the program due to heavy workload in schools and personal issues. Difficulty in building theory into practice due to some issues prevailing in the school culture. Limited resources available in the school, and also negative attitudes among students and teachers. Lack of proficiency among teachers. Those are the barriers they have faced. Now the research question number 4, what are the suggestions from principals to improve the school management program? A summary of key points are listed below, extracted from the responses of principals. Use of case study approach with scenario-based learning approach for the teaching learning process to improve the quality of program. Conducting short session, 3-hour sessions rather than conducting 6-hour sessions. Providing recording sessions and uploading into LMS. Provide a prior schedule for interactive sessions in advance. Organize face-to-face sessions at least for a selected few sessions of the program. Used more online tools to build the interaction more effectively. Providing a session for project management. providing a session for school-based research. Those are the suggestions given by the principals. Now the conclusions and recommendations. Amid various challenges with the COVID-19 pandemic and the socio-economic issues of the country, principals attempted to proceed with the school management program in a smooth manner. Although the adaptation of practices in their school has been quite slow, the school management program has made principals realize the significance of improving their leadership and managerial skills to facilitate the school effectiveness. The school management program has supported principals to enhance their leadership and managerial skills and improve their online learning skills. The department envisaged addressing the issues emphasized by the principals and considering the suggestions made by them to improve the school management program for the next cycle. These are the references we used. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions, we are accepting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Veerakon and the research team. This is a very valuable studies. This is related to the short course offered by the Department of Educational Leadership and Management. This is a very important and very needed studies to enhance the quality of the program. But anyway, actually, I observed that majority of the principals, they gave a very positive reflection to the program. Okay, now that I am going to, because now the participants, you can ask any questions. If there are any questions, please ask.
Yes, Madam, I'm Vajra.
Yes, Dr. Vajra.
While appreciating the effort of the research team, I want to ask research question number 4, conducting short sessions. Now, they, as a suggestion, they preferred for 3-hour sessions rather than 6-hour sessions. But now this is skill development program. Are there any reasons they mentioned for this type of, because why they preferred 3-hour sessions?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Vajira. Now, actually, we understood now they are very adult learners. You know, the principals are very busy in the all week of the month. They are very tired sometimes after these school activities. Then they requested to have a 3-hour sessions conducting rather than 6-hour sessions. Then everybody, actually nearly 75 participants, we collected data. They all agreed to have a 3-hour sessions rather than conducting 6-hour sessions.
Okay, thank you very much. You also think it's enough for skill development?
No. We have to cover all the 72 hours already.
Short
we have,
sessions.
yeah.
You can increase the number of sessions, no?
Number of sessions. We have to increase the number of sessions.
Okay, thank you, Sunil.
Thank you.
Any
Yes,
other questions? Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Veerakon,
Yes,
then I would like to congratulate the whole team for, doing this research. And I just want to know that your sample is 75 principals, right?
75, yeah.
Yeah, then what is your sampling method? Because this is a survey, then what is your sampling method?
Actually, we included all the participants, Sinhala medium, Tamil and English medium, groups, 25 groups for the Sinhala medium and English medium and Tamil medium, altogether 75. We included
then
all the 75 participants.
Population and the sample both are the same then?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think this is a purposive sampling, no? All the those who enroll in the program, short course, they incorporated all
But this is a quantitative study, then you can't have kind of a purposive sampling. Anyway, then that's okay, then we can get their perceptions.
Excuse me, I think it's a convenience sample, Mr. Sunil, you all have taken, isn't it?
Yes, madam. I think so.
Yeah. Can I ask a question also?
Yes,
Yeah, you were mentioning about their perceptions about the online learning. I saw that they said that it's the very first time they have
Yeah.
experienced, and I would like to know a little bit more, like how they felt about that. As principals who didn't have much experience in online
Yeah.
learning
Yeah.
before.
That was
Can you
a
elaborate?
Yeah, madam, that was a novel experience for majority of the principals. At the beginning, they got the support from their children. We can see during the day school contact sessions, they got the support from their own children. Sometimes at the end of the program, now they are they got the hands-on experience about the online platform. At the end of the program, they are very happy with that practices.
They have developed that skill also.
Yeah.
Digital skills also they have developed through the course.
Yeah, madam. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Thank you. Congratulations for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam.
Actually, I also, because under the question number 4, there are very significant findings here, because the principals, they suggested several suggestions. Therefore, I think because they mention about the session time and information on time about the classes, and they prefer to have more interaction. Those things are there. I hope this is a very good study. It will help to the research team to improve your program further. Thank you,
yes, madam.
Mr. Sunil and the research team. Now, I think we can move to the next presentation. The next presentation, the ID number 38, the title of the research is Trainee Teachers' Perspective on Co-Curricular Activities at School. The author is W.M.G. Vijayasundara. Over to you. Okay, now the recorder.
Good day, everyone. I'm Gayani Vijayasundara, a senior lecturer at Horizon Campus Malambe. I'm here to present paper number 38 at the International Open University Research Sessions 2022. The title of this presentation is Trainee Teachers' Perspectives on Co-Curricular Activities at School. First, let me brief you about the content of this presentation. I will start with a very brief introduction and a background of the study. Next, I will present the objectives and the methodology. Results and the discussions will be followed by recommendations. I will conclude my presentation by inviting questions from the audience. Moving on to the introduction, school curriculum has several facets, such as the co-curriculum or the main curriculum, co-curriculum and the extracurricular activities, terms that are interchangeably used to identify additional activities students do at school, and the hidden curriculum, the unwritten things that can impact a child at school. However, all these can equally contribute to the overall development of a child. Therefore, it's inevitable that teachers have a great responsibility to promote co-curricular and extracurricular at school. This study investigated how a set of trainee teachers who were offered co-curricular studies as a professional subject in a 4-year special degree in education responded to a questionnaire on their capacity, motivation, and attitudes toward the implementation of co-curriculum in schools. Now, let's look at the background of the study. Jayasinghe and Navaratna 2020, in a survey done in the Western Province and the Central Provinces of Sri Lanka, using a student sample of 450 senior secondary students, found that co-curricular engagement was very low and the teachers and the students have negative attitudes toward spending time on the co-curriculum. due to examination-oriented education. As a result, students were deprived of many benefits of the core curriculum in their overall development. Thus, the same researchers recommended that it is necessary to motivate both teachers and students to increase student participation in the core curriculum. According to Silva 2021, in the Sri Lankan context, only a few physical education teachers are allocated per school and external coaching facilities were considered expensive. Therefore, during conducting co-curricular activities, subject teachers' contribution is accounted for. However, there's no evidence of any in-service program that provides training to subject teachers to support the co-curriculum at school. Therefore, educating and motivating teachers before they enter the school seems imperative for the successful implementation of the co-curriculum. Hence, it's important to investigate how novice teachers feel about the core curriculum and evaluate the attention given to the core curriculum in teacher training programs. Talking about the objectives of the study, I have listed down 4 objectives that guided this study. They are to investigate the capacity and motivation of trainee teachers to promote co-curricular activities at schools, to understand the attitudes of trainee teachers toward the co-curriculum, and to evaluate the possible issues faced by teachers and gather their suggestions to overcome them in the view of improving the co-curriculum at school, and also to suggest improvements to teacher training programs in relation to the co-curricular studies. Moving on to the methodology, a survey design was used for this study and descriptive data were collected using a questionnaire. The total population was approximately 200 trainee teachers who offered co-curricular activities as a professional subject. A survey questionnaire in the form of a Google form was used to collect data, which was shared through the students' official WhatsApp groups, where all students were actively participating. Since everyone in the group had the opportunity to take part in the survey, the sample was considered a probability sample. A total of 97 responses were received, making the confidence level 85% and the margin of error 5%. The research instrument consisted of 17 closed-ended and 3 open-ended questions to collect data on the demography of the participants, their attitudes and the readiness to implement co-curriculum, along with suggestions for the successful implementation of co-curriculum at the school level. Data collected through closed-ended and open-ended questions were analyzed using both qualitative and quantitative methods and presented descriptively. Data analysis. Out of the 97 respondents, 92.8% were females and 7.2% were males. The age of the sample ranged from 20 to 35 years. 53.6% of the respondents were unemployed, 39.2% already worked as full-time teachers, and 7.2% were part-time teachers. The survey collected information about the respondents' exposure to co-curriculum at school level. 98.9% of respondents had done some type of physical co-curricular activity and 91.6% of respondents had done non-physical co-curricular activities at their school level. Of the respondents who already have started working as full-time and part-time teachers, 82% said that they already helped their students with the co-curricular activities. Respondents' attitudes, capacity and the motivation toward the co-curriculum. 85% said that both physical and non-physical co-curricular activities are equally important, while 14% said that physical activities are more important. 92.7% believed that extracurricular activities should be made compulsory at school, and 95.8% said that equal weightage should be given to both academic curriculum and the co-curriculum during the extended school closures. 89.6% showed their willingness to support the co-curriculum if the opportunity is provided, and 75% were ready to allocate time during the academic work. 74% of trainees were willing to stay after school to support the co-curriculum. A percentage of 54 considered visiting the school to support the co-curriculum during the school holidays. 92.7% demonstrated their willingness to undergo training to support the co-curriculum at school. However, the respondents generally responded less favorably for the continuation of the co-curriculum during the school closures. 75 respondents mentioned various issues that can hamper the implementation of the co-curriculum at school. The most common mentions were lack of time due to an examination-oriented education system, unavailability of an appraisal system for the co-curriculum, lack of facilities and equipment, lack of interest and negative attitudes of students, parents and teachers, unawareness of benefits of the co-curriculum, possible physical injuries, the lethargy of students and the addiction to electronic devices, lack of institutional support, and situations such as the pandemic period where social distancing was advised. However, respondents were not confident about their capacity and speculated about the practicality of the continuation of the co-curricular activities during the extended school closures. Moving to conclusions and recommendations, the data analysis is directed toward two types of recommendations. The first one is suggestions made by trainees to improve the co-curriculum at school. Implementation of new interesting activities to suit the modern world, educating the parents and the school community about the benefits of the co-curriculum, implementation of a system to take co-curriculum into the national evaluation system or to award marks for university entrance and employment, suggesting the authorities to provide compulsory budget allocations, providing professional coaching, making the co-curriculum compulsory, establishing a reward system to motivate students and teachers, ensuring a safe environment and providing high quality equipment, and allocating adequate time during the school time were some of the recommendations of the study. Finally, recommendations towards teacher training are training in-service teachers as a continuous professional development strategy and providing master trainers to train teachers to increase the workforce who can contribute to the successful implementation of the co-curriculum at school. The study also suggests the strengthening of the subject areas related to the co-curriculum in pre-service teacher training programs by allocating more funds, time and other resources and adding more practical training. These are the references. We have come to the end of the presentation. I would like to conclude by inviting questions from the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vijayasundara. This is also another valuable study. Now the question and answer time. Now the participants, if there are any questions, you can ask.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Gayani. And you have been there for a couple of years. I can remember that. Thank you
Yes,
for
yes.
participating in our IAVS sessions.
Yes, madam. This is my third time, I think.
Yeah, I can remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and I although you can't remember, I'm one of your students also.
Okay, then please keep doing that. I just want to know whether that regarding your first and second objectives.
Yes,
then
madam.
in the first objective, you have mentioned about that capacity and motivation. Two, different concepts together. So then how did you achieve that objective with those two, wide concepts? And also the second one, to understand, it should be measurable that when we write the objectives,
Yes,
then I
yes.
have that way of writing those two objectives and how did you achieve those? Could you please respond?
Yes, madam. Actually, I had a couple of questions to see how much they are willing to take part in the co-curricular activities. And actually, I'm one of their teachers. I happen to teach them. These are my students. The sample is my teachers. The population is my my students in our campus, and they follow a government approved program. So I wanted to see whether how much I have been able to motivate them. So there were a couple of questions, and I wanted to see how much they were ready to take part in the co-curriculum. How have they understood how important they have taken it likewise. So some of the questions I have included, given me ideas about how important the co-curriculum is actually.
Yes, that's really good. But when you formulate the research objectives, then please revisit again.
Yes, I get it, madam.
Study.
I get it.
Just a suggestion, you can use identify the attitudes or something.
Yes, madam. Yes, I think, yes, I should do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ruanti and Vajira. Actually, this is not a question. Under your findings that related to co-curricular activities, the one that physical activities, this is related to physical activity statement.
Yes.
The percentage of trainees not giving more positive answer, no? The physical activities? Only I think less than 25%, that one. Under the attitude, motivation and all, that under that findings, one statement related to physical activity. Importance of physical activities. Your statement showing that importance of the physical activity. For that percentage compared to other statement, very low. Do you have any insight of, yeah?
Madam, I think it's the low percentage was shown in, that was the attitude. Madam, that was actually that particular statement was like both the teachers, 85% of teachers, they said both physical and non-physical activities are important for the development of the students, whereas only 14% teachers said that physical activities are more important than non-physical activities. So it goes as that, not that they are there.
Right. Okay. Maybe the statement not clear, no? That's why I perceive like that.
Yes, I
okay,
think so.
now I understand. Okay, thank you. Is there any more questions? Okay, then if there are no more questions, then we can go to the next. This is the last presentation. That ID number 3. The title is Principals' Leadership Capacities as Perceived by Teachers in Secondary School in Gold Division. The author is NGISJ Lianage. Yes.
Ma'am, that was my
one.
Sorry?
paper ID is
Wait.
I think it's
Paper,
number one.
All right, yeah. Sorry. Yes. Paper ID 81. 81, no? The last presentation. Yes, sorry. That the title of the research is Empowering Moderately Hearing Impairment Youth in ICT Literacy Skills, NG Nambuwasam. Sorry for that.
I am S.G. Nambuwasam. My research topic is Empowering Moderately Hearing Impaired Youth in ICT Literacy Skills. A hearing loss person is not able to hear as someone with normal hearing. Such persons' hearing threshold is in 20 decibels or better in both ears. According to the World Health Organization 2022, the hearing loss is graded as mild, moderate, severe, or profound. The most quiet sounds heard by people with moderate hearing impairment in their better ear is in the range of 35 to 49 decibels. People who suffer from moderate hearing loss have problems of hearing in many situations. Also, they have difficulties in keeping up with conversations. Moderately hearing impaired people are benefited by using hearing aids. Several researchers have conducted studies in relation to the education of the hearing impaired students. Boutin in year 2006 studied the effectiveness of the state vocational training rehabilitation program for consumers with hearing impairments. Mofu and Chimhenga in year 2013 studied the challenges faced by hearing impaired pupils in learning. Francois et al. In 2015 studied on the topic of schooling of hearing impaired children and the benefits of early diagnosis. According to the universal definition, a youth is a person who is in the age of 15 to 24 years. Vocational training is not popular among hearing impaired youth, but for ICT literate hearing impaired youth can find employment opportunities either as graphic designers or hardware technicians in the industry. At present, vocational training is mainly conducted in the physical mode as formal classroom teaching, hence providing necessary infrastructure, transportation, accommodation facilities and communication are barriers for the institutions. Obtaining such kind of facilities from those institutions is a barrier for the hearing impaired learners. The objective of the study is to design an interactive e-learning material to provide ICT literacy for moderately hearing impaired youth. The research is designed using the mixed methodology. As the sampling technique, random sampling technique has been used. As the sample, 30 moderately hearing impaired youth have been used. Participants are allowed to interact with the designed interactive e-learning material to obtain ICT literacy. A simple quiz is used to measure the participants' understanding on the provided e-learning content. For the data collection, a questionnaire and interviews have been used. The questionnaire is used to get feedback of the participants about their e-learning experience. Interviews were conducted with a few participants to gather further clarification about their e-learning experience. Data analysis. The quantitative data collected through the questionnaire was analyzed using a statistical package. The qualitative data collected through the interviews was analyzed using a statistical tool. As the conclusion, I can include that e-learning can be incorporated to empower moderately hearing impaired youth in acquiring ICT literacy skills. These are the references which I have used in this study. Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Nambuvasan, this is also another important study in the field of special needs education. Thank you for your valuable presentation. Now, the audience, if there are any questions, you can ask.
Okay, Professor Kugamunti, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah. Surini, It's a very interesting study, but I'm more interested in knowing your findings actually. Now, you
Yes.
said you designed an e-learning facility
Yeah.
for these hearing impaired students, which is very good. But I was looking forward to see the findings which was not presented. Can you explain what were your findings of this study?
Actually, madam, I could do the pilot study because of this situation of the country. It's very difficult to find students in the appropriate training institutes. But I could do the pilot study. Based on that, I could find that the e-learning opportunities can be provided for these students because already the institutions which provide education for the hearing impaired students provide the ICT education for them as well. And but the problem is the exposure, the awareness about these training institutions is not so much popular in the society.
Yeah, I was actually, okay, we can understand that you could only do the pilot study yet. Maybe you are planning to do in larger scale in the future. But my interest is specifically what is this e-learning method? I mean, what's the difference? What are the strategies you have used? Because it might be useful for our special needs department as well. So can you just explain? Yeah.
Then actually I have used some e-learning models like ADDIE model. Then ADDIE model is not very much effective for these students. But when we move on to Ganges and some Ganges model, and we have to introduce some stages to that. Then we can apply. We can deliver the content to the hearing impaired students, because when we deliver the content, we can't use the same methodologies which we apply for the normal students to the hearing impaired students, madam.
Then you are going to, I mean, have kind of an intervention program with those students.
Yes, madam. Intervention is also there. Then I tried to apply the existing models and find the weaknesses of those models and trying to implement a new model.
Yeah, I think still you're in the starting point of your research, as I understand, but it's a very good thing if you can come up with a good model. I think you're doing a design-based research. So actually, it's very good if you can properly formulate your research questions and design the e-learning facility and do it, methodically. And maybe you can present it at the next, maybe even before that.
Yes.
Yeah, you should go ahead with it.
Yes.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yes.
Thank you, madam.
And even in the pilot study, you use some models, no? Because you meant yes. Then those findings, it is good to tell about those findings. Based on the pilot study also, you receive some findings, no? It's good. Yeah, if you share those findings, it is good, because we also have a Department of Special Needs Education. It will be very useful to us.
Right. Thank you very much, madam.
Okay.
Was preparing the presentation, I was not ready with those things. That was the problem.
Right. Okay. Good luck.
Thank you, madam.
Is there any other questions? Okay, there are no any other questions. Now we are ending our online session under the theme education. Thank you very much, all the presenters and all the participants for your valuable presentation and valuable time spent all other participants. Thank you very much. Now we can end the session. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you,
Thank
professor.
you.